Judgment, a psychological thriller by J.N. Wdowski, Chapter 4. The next morning, Caroline pulled her Mercedes into the underground garage of the courthouse. She parked in her reserved spot near the elevator. Shutting off the engine, she glanced into her rearview mirror, just before reaching for her briefcase on the passenger's seat. She paused, surprised to see Thomas Pierce standing behind her car. He was looking straight at her. She reached for the pistol in her bag, and with her other hand picked up her phone to call the chief bailiff. "I just want to talk to you," Thomas loudly pleaded. After calling Walter, she stepped out of her car with the .22 in her right hand at her side and her briefcase in her left. She shut her car door and faced him. "There's nothing more to say, Mr. Pierce. I know I have problems. I have substance abuse, anger issues." He held his empty hands up, seeing the pistol she was gripping. "I do want to clean up my act. I need to get my wife back." "These are not my problems, Mr. Pierce." She saw Walter and two other bailiffs finally enter the garage. "Your confronting me will not make your situation better." Walter walked up with the two bailiffs, who began to take hold of Thomas. "Let him go." Caroline put her pistol back into her briefcase. "He hasn't done anything yet, that is. Go now, Mr. Pierce. I wish you luck if you truly want to reform." He yanked free his arms from the bailiffs and walked away. "I will show you, Judge Wright." He turned to her before walking out of the garage. "Was that a threat?" Walter asked the judge. "Unfortunately, not clear enough to be considered one." She replied from a legal point of view, but on a personal level, she felt it was. As fast as Walter and the other two bailiffs were able to come to her aid, she was still glad she had taken Peter's advice about having the pistol, just in case. Noon. Caroline walked into the Cucina Italiana, which was conveniently across the street from the courthouse and next to City Hall. Mayor Castillo waved her over to his table. He had his assistant get up and sit at another table. "I am so happy you accepted my invitation. You must want something very much to pay for my meal." She sat down. "I assume this is not a date." She smirked. He laughed. "No, of course not. Mrs. Castillo would not approve." His smile broadened more so. "So this is business, not pleasure," she stated as she looked at the menu the waiter handed her. "I always aim for both," he corrected her. "I'm sure you do, Mr. Mayor." She looked up at the waiter. "I'll have the chicken parmesan with penne and marinara sauce." "To drink?" the waiter asked. "I recommend a glass of Sangiovese." "A glass of ginger ale." She handed him back the menu. The waiter took her order and went to the kitchen. "You don't drink?" Castillo was surprised, as he had already started with a glass of Pinot Grigio. "I do, in moderation, and not in the middle of the day, when I still have trials to judge," she answered. It was at that moment David Pierce walked in. Mayor Castillo stood and relinquished his seat to Mr. Pierce. He picked up his wine glass and went to the table his assistant was waiting at. Sitting down, David Pierce waved the waiter away. He folded his hands on the table in front of him. At first he said nothing. He just looked at her. "You're not eating, Mr. Pierce?" She broke the silence. "I have a massive appetite, just not for food as many do." He glanced at Mayor Castillo, who had just received his lobster tail with a large serving of linguine in clam sauce, shrimp, and scallops. His assistant was having a simple plate of salad with oil and vinaigrette. He turned his attention back to Caroline. "You are becoming a problem for me, Judge Wright." "Am I now? I'm so sorry to hear that." She debated if she should just stand up and leave. She had no desire to be intimidated by him, but part of her was curious where this encounter might lead. Give him the rope to hang himself. Knowing that they were in a state with a single-party consent rule, she reached into her jacket pocket and hit the record on her phone. "More so than you know," he replied. "Your judgment is destroying my son's marriage. I do not want my grandchildren raised in a broken home, as their father was." "I do not see how this is my fault," she responded. "Perhaps if you had raised your son better, he would have learned to be a more responsible husband and father. My understanding is you have money. Why not pay for an Uber for him, or give him bus fare so he can still go to work?" He was not amused. "Unfortunately, when he was younger, I was not able to be there for him, to give him the proper guidance a teenage boy needs from his father." "Were you serving overseas or in prison?" Her words seemed to hit a nerve. Pierce momentarily lost his cool composure. but regained it quickly. Be careful, Your Honor. I would hate for you to learn the hard way that when you refuse the carrots life offers you, life will often respond with sticks. Are you threatening me, Mr. Pierce? Her eyes narrowed. It sounds like you are threatening me. I do not make threats, he answered. You make promises? She completed his sentence. Very cliché. I don't make threats, he simply repeated. He then stood as the waiter came with her meal, looking down at her before he left. Savor your meal. You'll never know if it may be your last. Early evening. Caroline sat in the parlor of Mr. Vandermunt's home on his private island. She did not have to wait long before he entered. The 72-year-old billionaire wore orange slacks and a lime green polo shirt. His white hair was a little thinner since she had last seen him. Caroline, so good to see you. She stood and gave him a hug. They exchanged kisses on the cheek. I haven't seen you since Peter's funeral. I told you then. If you needed anything at all, I'm only a phone call away. Thank you, Mr. Vandermunt. I remember. She sat as he sat in an armchair with a high back across from her. So, you finally need my help, Your Honor. He smiled, which he quickly lost. Where are my manners? Would you like anything to drink? He looked at the 47-year-old standing to the side, in a traditional butler's uniform. Gilbert? No, thank you. I am fine. She did not want to bother Gilbert. It is no trouble, Judge Wright. A cocktail, tea, coffee, a soft drink, the butler offered. Thank you, Gilbert. I am really fine. Are you sure? Did you eat? Hungry? Vandermunt asked her. No, really, I am fine. He was a bit confused. Sitting back, he crossed one of his legs over the other, as his hands gripped the ends of his armrests. Since this is not a social call, how can I help you, Caroline? He looked disappointed. This time it is not. I am sorry. He grinned. Next time, you are more than welcome to visit any time. Richie still makes the best pizza in New England. I promise, Mr. Vandermunt. Next time. He sat quietly for a moment and examined her face and posture. You're still missing Peter? Yes? Yes, Mr. Vandermunt. I still need some more time. Thinking of Peter, she sighed. I more than understand. Peter was a good man. Vandermunt gently stroked his chin. Chief Wright was a great man, added Gilbert. Yes, he was, Gilbert. He looked up at his butler in agreement, then turned his attention back to Caroline. So how can I help you? Anything at all? A donation to your favorite charity? Nothing like that. Information. I only need some information. She put out her hand, stopping him from taking out his checkbook. Information on what? Stock advice? Vandermunt asked her. Not a what? A who? She leaned closer to Vandermunt. You seem to know those that should be known. Who? David Pierce. She explained to him about her judgment of Thomas Pierce. She then took out her phone and played the conversation she had with the father in the restaurant earlier that day. Vandermunt listened intently. He uncrossed his legs and in a wide stance placed them both firmly on the floor. I can see how this concerns you. Pierce is smart enough not to make any direct threats, and you are smart enough not to try to use it against him. What do you know of him? Do I need to worry? Or is it just hot air from an overly protective father? She shut off her phone and placed it back into the inner breast pocket of her jacket. The Pierces appeared in our fair city about 10 years ago. He is tied in with the longshoremen's union leadership. He quickly moved up in the union and has a lot of political pull. Vandermunt explained to her. He's not old money. A couple of years ago, he got involved with a few of the NGOs that specialize in services for immigrants, undocumented immigrants. There are rumors that with his connections with the docks, he smuggles in illegal immigrants to feed the NGOs. With the increased needs, he secures increased funding from city, state, and federal agencies. We are talking billions being funneled into his NGOs. He, however, makes sure a large percentage of the taxpayers' money received is redirected as political donations to the government officials that approve the funding. Sounds like money laundering, she pointed out. No wonder he is so buddy-buddy with Mayor Castillo. That it does, Vandermunt confirmed, and Castillo is only the tip of the corruption. Do I need to worry, Mr. Vandermunt? She asked him directly. His bread is buttered with union dues and government grant money from his NGOs. I don't think he would risk doing anything as foolish as to harm a judge on the bench. It would bring too much attention to him and his rackets. Any attention he brings upon himself will also expose very powerful political parties. They would not approve of him making any direct move on you." She stood from her chair. "Thank you. It is good to know." Vander Munt also stood. "Please, Caroline, I hope next time you will join me for dinner." They exchanged hugs and kisses on the cheeks once more. "I would love to, Mr. Vander Munt. Next time, I promise." "I will hold you to that promise." He smiled.
For the exciting conclusion, be sure to continue to Chapter 5. To support the author, please like, share, comment, and subscribe.